Hello there. Happy full moon in Gemini. I'm out on the field. I just had some lovely sun, but now it's behind some clouds, so hopefully it'll come back out while I'm on here, but you never know in Ireland. It could start raining on me as I'm talking here. But I wanted to do a little video about the full moon and more or less the kind of things I'm experiencing. More to encourage you to pay attention to maybe what you're experiencing. You know, when we are in a full moon, the sun and the moon are opposing each other. That's why we can see the fullness of the moon. The sun's light is reflecting on it. And so it can bring a lot to light, like in the moon territory, you know, things that we normally can't see. So I always encourage people on full moons to pay attention to that. But this one in Gemini, I want you to particularly pay attention because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the great communicator. It rules intellect and insight, and you know, things that we take in from other places, particularly from a mental, perspective. And I'm a person who happens to have their Venus in Gemini, so I like Gemini. A lot of astrologers like Gemini. It's kind of a fun time. You know, this is not an easy time to sleep because Gemini is very active. It likes to have fun. It likes to get out and network and be with people. It's the great communicator. It rules the internet, actually, like in a lot of ways. And its opposing sign, Sagittarius, is the sign of exploration and freedom and, philosophy. It's like the great sage sign. So those two are, having a conversation. And of course, it's rare that it's just those two luminaries having a conversation with almost any transit. So there are other influences going on right now with Pluto and Neptune and Saturn. And there's truth being revealed, Neptune, illusion, delusion, the ideal, the dream, lies being revealed. I think I might get a visit from my horse friends here. We'll see. I'm not sure. I just have to kind of keep an eye. They're making their way towards me though. And maybe they're just curious. So I may have to pause this and I'll come back if that's the case. But or maybe I'll let you experience them as I do. We'll see. They are coming towards this area. They've been teaching me a lot actually today, me just observing their behavior, and I like to be respectful of them. They're very independent animals. I think they're coming to say hello, so we'll take this time and acknowledge them. Hi, beauties. How are you? Horses are very independent. They don't like to be told what to do. One in the Chinese cosmology. And I've been watching their behavior in the last week or two, mainly because I'm trying to learn from nature around me. And I think one of the illusions I have is that everything's perfect in nature. It's far from perfect. I've gotten to witness these beautiful creatures doing very natural things like this and just eating off the land and being on the land. And I've also seen them fight with each other. I've seen them nip at each other. I've seen some neurotic behavior from one of them, some anxiety behavior. I've seen other things too. I'm not going to get into that, but my point is that one of the things I'm really learning is that nothing and never will be is perfect. Nothing's perfect. And it would be an illusion or delusion to think that the things we deal with as humans don't exist with other species and in nature itself. And I'm starting to respect that in a new way, because I historically have been someone who, will seek the ideal, seek telling the truth, but I've only got my perspective, which is limited. Right there, I just talked about all 3 planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Saturn. Limitations, Saturn, Pluto, truth. Neptune, illusions, delusions, the dream. So here I am, exploring my own dream. And I'm being faced with a lot of my own illusions and delusions around what I believe to be the truth. And I think we're all actually experiencing that in a pretty big way. And so I encourage you to take some time today and just intuit. When I think of Gemini, I think of the gem in I, the beautiful things about ourselves that are inside of us, the truths, our perspective, and the fact that we can speak our perspective. These animals don't use the same language we do, but they absolutely have a language. And so I am coming to learn that language in different ways, and part of that is by being respectful and not necessarily approaching them, allowing them to come to me. And this is what happens, is then I get to be sitting here next to them while they're doing their own thing versus me forcing myself on them or putting my camera in their face. I leave it up to them to decide if they want to come to me. I'm trying to learn that lesson from myself, and it's not been easy. I've been a person who I really enjoy helping people and supporting people, and I've done that, unfortunately, to the detriment of myself. And in this last week, I was aware of just a particular incident for myself where I kind of cut off communication with someone, and because I didn't actually know how to explain how I was feeling. And I know that I knew the way I handled it could have maybe been handled better, but I also needed to just do what I needed to do for me. And now I'm, in having reached out to that person to kind of address that, I see that they're not as open anymore and they don't want to talk, and I can completely understand that. And, parts of it makes me angry because I'm like, why doesn't anybody give me the grace I give them? But everybody deserves space. We can't have it all figured out. It's never all going to be figured out. That's not really why we're here. We're here to discover. So, I'm learning that I think they're appreciating when I do this and I don't approach them and I just let them come to me because they know that I don't have some other ulterior motive. And our egos have ulterior motives. They're sneaky, and we need them for survival. Like I said, I needed my ego to do what it needed to do to help me turn off all the noise that was coming in at me. I was dealing with a trauma response, and I have to forgive myself for maybe have handling something in a way that I wouldn't have wanted to, but I trust that with all relationships, if they're meant to be, they'll stay, and if they're not, they won't. And I want to encourage you to look at that for yourselves. I think of Gemini's ruling friendship, actually. Can you hear them eating? I'm so happy you get to experience this with me quite naturally. These two here, this darker horse with the white is very protective of this whiter horse with the black. A lot of times when she comes near, he'll start sneaking in, and I can't tell if it's a jealousy thing or if it's just a protection thing. Here he comes. I know, I'm aware. So, anyways, this is perfectly imperfect. I love it. What an opportunity. I'm trying to be mindful of not using a lot of astrology language and even trying to read too many readings from others. We have someone who might come over. and instead just talking about what I'm experiencing, when we're here at the peak of the full moon. And I encourage that for you. Don't, it's a hard habit because we all want to learn things, Gemini and Sagittarius. But part of, I think, what we're learning is that we have a lot of it in us already, and the world around us will give us the information in our own quiet states. We don't have to constantly be seeking through outside sources, but we can. There's nothing wrong with that. I think actually, in the case of Gemini, seeking from each other is really, really helpful. It's been very helpful to be here in a place with other people from other countries and get that it's not the United States only that's got their issues with their governments. It's all over. So it is helpful. And I think it's a way that we help each other get back to the basics with each other. And we don't judge each other from outside labels. And instead we ask about our personal experiences. And then we ask, where did those personal experiences or beliefs come from? And we help each other undo that or relearn it or see other perspectives. So I'm truly grateful for the opportunity that I've had here to get to learn from amazing beings like these beautiful horses. On the other side of this wall behind me are cows. On the other side of that wall over there are more cows. There are tons of birds. What's interesting is as she's gotten closer, my other friend back there has moved away. So again, it's learning trust, and we got to learn trust with each other. So anyways, I'm going to get distracted by them. So I wish you all a very happy full moon. Take some time, close your eyes, take a few breaths in, ask yourself what it is you're seeking. Trust that what you're seeking is seeking you. For me, it tends to be around truth. That doesn't mean it's the only truth. There's lots of truths. And we're going to be going into a Mercury retrograde cycle. So, what we're seeing now, Mercury's going to come, back through, it's right now it's in Sag. It'll be advancing to Capricorn, and then it will retrograde backwards. We've also got Mars kind of been traveling with the sun, opposing the moon right now. So, those two have been traveling together. They're going to start moving apart. So the energies will start changing and shifting. But my big question for you is, what is it you're seeking? What is it you want to explore? How do you want to expand? And maybe trust that there is no such thing as good or bad or good. It's really good and bad. These horses, as an example, I was thinking about this morning, it may feel beautiful that they're on this land, but they're therapy horses. So if different times during the week we see one or two taken away and they're, brought to a place to work with autistic children, which, sounds lovely, but I would bet that they don't love that. I also would bet that they don't love being out here in the storms that have frightened me. So there's never going to be perfect. Life is never going to be perfect. There's going to be suffering involved in life, and staying present to the suffering and staying present to possibility is imperative, I think, at times like this. We need both. Nothing is this or that. And bring it all to the table. Bring all of you to the table. There's going to be more I have to say about all this, I think. But for now, I think I'll just pause at that, and I'm going to take some time with these guys. All right. Happy full moon. Take it easy. Take some time for yourself. Don't let these holidays sweep you away. Also, don't feel obligated in any way to do anything you don't want to do. Yep. I agree. All right. Gemini's about fun and laughter too. I feel so lucky that I have a being, just being with me.